Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Shoot with the Yela man. I have a very, very, very special guest. One of my best friends in the entire universe. Hell, one of my biggest rivals in my wrestling career, period. None other than the man himself. He's a musician. He is everything he says he is.
Won a Nobel Prize.
Won a Nobel Prize. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you John Heartbreak. John Heartbreak, what's up, my man?
What is up, bro? I'm so happy to be able to chill with you today. This has been so fun. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome.
Thank you, bro. Like, you came down here, you made the trip. How was your trip?
Trip was good. Been listening to new singles or new completed, fully mastered songs at this point. So getting pretty late in the game for the album, and I think, well, you tell me what you think, because you heard a lot of tracks tonight.
Yeah,
we listened to a lot.
I did. I heard a lot of tracks, and like I'm excited for the new album. Like, it's been how long since you released the album?
Oh God, let's see. Slaying Giants was 2019. So it was, I believe, August of 2019. So not long before COVID hit, and it all went downhill after that. So.
Oh Lord. So Heartbreak, my man. Like, everybody want to know. Like, you've been doing music. Where have you been? Like, on the wrestling scene. Like everybody want to know. Like I said before, like, you one of my biggest, longest feuds and rivals. But outside of the ring, like, we like best friends in the whole entire world. We do music together. We hit the roads together, unless we opponents, because we keep it old school and traditional. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shoot, when we about to have them matches against each other, we mad at each other all week long. You know what I'm saying? We figure out reasons to come up. We make excuses to get mad at each other. We keep it old school. Yes, sir. But so, like, all the people want to know, all the heartbreakaholics want to know, like, where's John Heartbreak been? And is there a future in professional wrestling for John Heartbreak? Is there a return coming soon?
That's fun. I like that. Heartbreakaholics. That's funny. We just call them freaks.
The freaks?
The freaks. No, that's a good question, and honestly, I'm in the works for it. I think a lot of some of the things, which I'm sure you could probably relate to, especially with us, is that we had some really great matches, and we did some stuff like psychology wise that was really awesome. We built a really good story. It was just the location of it,
right?
That was like, it could have been infinitely better if the location was different.
Absolutely.
And and had like creative freedom and things like that. Not that that's so important, because if you're working with somebody who cares about you,
right,
then like, you're going to be able to put some input into what you're doing. But we didn't have a lot of that.
No, at all.
When we told our story in the ring.
And you gotta think about it, like, the years that we had in it, we wasn't that experienced either. We just kind of on the fly, shook up the room.
Time.
Yeah. For like, because we had some years in, and we've had matches, and you know what I'm saying. We were just at the beginning of our storytelling as far as when it comes to in-ring working.
Well, I think that, like, at that point in my career, if you call it that, in wrestling, that was like when we did our first big thing, our first big story. I think at that point, that was when our storytelling and just really our work in general really started to shine up, because like we had known the logistics of like, how to get from A to B, but I think that like working with you, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, you've been hyping me up this whole time, but for me, I think that the biggest thing with working with you was, my craft had started to shine a little. I started smoothing things out and making things a lot more clean, a lot more, and even with it's weird because you could only say this with wrestling, but like it got a lot more clean and it also got a lot more gritty.
Yeah.
Like the character got a lot more gritty. The feel, like the emotion of it got
push it to the limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm most proud of at that point was that a lot of people said that a lot of people on the card didn't look like real fighting, but when me and you came out, it looked like we absolutely hated each other, and we were ready to rip each other's lungs out.
I mean, when we got out there and got in that ring, I know for me, you didn't pull any punches. Like, we worked together and we got home, but like that was a fight. Like that was challenging for me. That was like, that absolutely tested me as a worker, but like a wrestler, a performer, that pushed me to the limits and elevated me, if anything.
For the record, I would talk about not pulling punches. For the record, let all the Yela fans know right now that Bobby Yela just will not freaking bleed. Okay? Because I'm telling you, if there was a place to punch him to make him bleed, I have tried to hit it, and it just won't freaking happen.
Bro, I'm a Power Ranger. We spark.
Yeah, I hear you.
You ain't never seen a Power Ranger bleed. You hit them, they spark.
You could say I'm green with envy.
Oh, yes. I like that. Man, speaking of the matches that we had together, everyone keeps on talking up and bringing up years later that steel cage ladder match that we had for the Carolina Classics Championship. And, I mean, you got the W that night. You picked up the big victory. I mean, we both took each other to the limits in that match. Like, I don't think either one of us would have lost either way it goes in the outcome. I think that was a big win for both of us. It got us a little local TV buzz and all kind of stuff. Like, you got any comments on that match? Because I hear about it to this day.
I easily hear about that match, like, maybe 2-3 times a month, and that's not an exaggeration. It's just, I'm not saying that to try to make us sound more famous than we are, anything like that. But truthfully, I hear about that match all the time. The second one, because a lot of people don't even know we had two of them.
I know it wasn't like the footage got lost, but the second one was a banger.
Yeah, I thought the second one was better than the first.
Absolutely,
and I've never seen it.
Me either.
Which is so frustrating. But if I had the opportunity again with location, if I had the opportunity to do something like that with Yela versus Heartbreak, I would be all over it. And some of the workers understand what I'm about to say right now, okay? But in order to do that, I would much rather see Heartbreak and Yela team up first.
I can see that because, we had a little run where we teased as a tag team, and there was a couple of times where I was down and team was getting a better hand of me, and the fans were screaming Heartbreak, and that happened to you when you was getting jumped on a couple of times. The fans were screaming for me to come out and make the save. And we've teamed before. We gave them a little sample, but I feel like at this point of our career, if we gave it to them now, boy, they'd be in for something. And speaking of a time that stands out to me in both of our career that we did together, was the triple threat match that we had with my brother, now OVW star, the Get Bundles. Like him and my boy Dark Clouds, you know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing in OVW, but after we had that match, we promised the fans if we shut bundles up, we would perform together. And that was not only musical, you know what I'm saying? Not only for my music career, but for my wrestling career. That was a big highlight for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one thing that stood out more than anybody. With you, we always worked together well. We did music together. We was opponents. We was partners. Yeah. Like, we hit the road together. We did it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think, like, relationships like that in wrestling in general are so rare, man. You know, because that's why, like, the ones that stand the test of time are the ones, like, the only ones that exist.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, I mean, you hear, like, you know, Heart Foundation, DX, right? Bobby and Heartbreak.
Absolutely.
Because, like, there's just not many of them. You know, John Evans is another one for me. Like, John Evans is one of the most realest guys I've ever met in my life, and he's one of my best friends, you know, to this day, because it's that the bond that wrestling makes is just so unbreakable. It's